Hello guys, and welcome to what is hopefully going to be helpful if you were thinking or considering trying to make a vacuumer, ghoster, torment, spirit, cycloner character combined with the magic finder. And I wanted to do it since I got a free reset with patch 2.3, and I didn't really find any information online about it. And I thought, well, since I've been doing this for the past few days and I'm having a lot of fun, why not share the information that I have with you guys and hopefully make the process of deciding whether you want to try something like this easier. So first of all, what is Torment, Vacuumer, Ghoster, Cycloner, whatever the hell you want to call it? It has many names. It's basically a character that does no damage, which you can achieve by Ancestral Bond, that cyclones around, and pulls enemies, and instead of knocking them back away from you, it knocks them toward you with the Empire's Grasp gauntlets. And the point is that you spin around the map, you gather as many mobs as possible until your computer dies or you get disconnected. And then, since you're running a Torment mod on a map, and Torment mob, it gives you at least 3 additional Tormented Spirits, which is that green thing that when crosses over the mob, they have increased item rarity and increased item quantity. And the point is, you get all the mobs, or as many mobs as possible, affected by the Tormented Spirit. You do that for the entire map, then you log off or switch character, and you go into the character you're going to clear the map with, which hopefully has a lot of magic find or increased item rarity and increased item quantity, and you enjoy the fat ass loot. That's what I've been doing for the past few days, and I gotta say that it is a lot of fun. Now, to answer the first and maybe the most important question a lot of you are going to ask, is it viable? Is it worthwhile? Does it cost more than it provides? I don't really have a definitive answer to that. It's still a lot of RNG elements. You can get super lucky and get good drops. I was clearing a tropical island the other day, and I got two Beanos that I sold both for each for 25 chaos or something. So I guess I was lucky, but you get a lot of currency anyway. And the bottom line is the mod cost 4 chaos orbs, and I would go as far as say there's absolutely no chance that if you don't massively fail with grouping them or clearing the map, that you're going to end up with less than 4 chaos. You're going to definitely return those 4 chaos that you invested. So yeah, as far as characters are concerned, I would say that the Juggernaut Ascendancy for Marauder is probably the best choice for Cycloner because of the Unrelenting and Unflinching. Unflinching basically gives you a 20% chance to gain endurance charge when you're hit, and Unrelenting says if you would gain endurance charges, you instead gain up to your maximum number of endurance charges. What does that mean? That means, let's say you have 5 maximum endurance charges and you get hit once, and instead of getting only 1 endurance charge, you get all 5 instantly, which is amazing because when you combine that with, let's say, cast on damage taken, Immortal Call with increased duration, you pretty much have Immortal Call on you all the time, which is very, very, very important. Another item that is extremely important are this is pretty much the only item that is absolutely required. There's absolutely nothing you can do without this item. These are the Empire's Grasp gauntlets, which, as you can see, knockback direction is reversed. That is the only item, and it's like 3 chaos or something. It's pretty cheap. Another item that I would say that is pretty mandatory is high level and highest quality as possible knockback support gem. I have a 2020. I've bought it for maybe 15 chaos or something like that on standard. And it's very important because you need it to cap your knockback chance on hit. Right now, my knockback chance on hit for Cyclone is 90%, and I can probably get it to 100 with 2 more jewels, each with 6% chance to knockback on hit. Right now I'm capping my knockback chance with projectile weakness aura that I'm running with blasphemy, because even though this is like completely projectile based, it still has this hits on cursed enemies have an additional 25% chance to knockback. And from my short testing, it I think it works on melee hits as well. So that's why I'm running it for now. I do plan to change a few things on my tree to make sure that I gain 2 more jewel sockets, and then I will be 100% chance to knock back without running questionable or curse. The key talents are, as I said, the Juggernaut Ascendancy with Unrelenting and Unflinching, and this is very important. Fending is extremely important because it gives you additional knockbacks chance, which is very hard to come by. What else is very important? Mirroring Stance, of course, Resolute Technique, and as I said, Ancestral Bond. You want to get Amplify as well, because Cyclone is area skill, and you need to... it just saves you time to, from picking up mobs that are a bit further away from you while you're spinning. As far as rest of the nodes, this is a tree that I found on Reddit. I forgot the name of the guy who this belongs to. But either way, I just want to say that this is not something that I came up with. I pretty much copied it, and I've changed certain things that I thought might better. Also, I have 3 jewels. Each one has 6% chance to knock back enemies on hit. Ideally, you would want to have increased attack speed and enemies knockback on hit, but yeah, it is what it is. You don't need any damage nodes, simply because you deal no damage anyway. You need a lot of armor, survivability, and additional endurance charges, pretty much. And it's very straightforward, to be honest. As far as gear is concerned, as I said, the only absolutely required item is Goliath Gauntlets. Empire's Grasp. Some would argue that Aegis Aurora is also a requirement. I would kind of agree. If you wanna cyclone higher level maps, I think yeah, it is. You need to be able to survive. But for lower level maps like Tropical Island and tier 1-2 maps, I wouldn't say that it's really required. What else? Oh yeah, Cyclone. Cyclone for me is linked with knockback support, life gain on hit support, blood magic, and increased area of effect. A lot of people might argue that this is completely a waste of a socket and I'm much better off with, let's say, faster attacks or something, but I'm lazy, and this increased my AoE and I pull mobs faster and easier, I guess. Another gem setup that's somewhat important is the Reckoning, linked with melee splash support, knockback support, and life gain on hit. And as far as the Cycloner is concerned, that's about it. As far as the weapon is concerned, I strongly suggest you go for Fancy Foil and make sure nothing on it matters. The only thing that you really need, because this one has 1.6 attacks per second base, you want to have increased attack speed rolled on it, because you want as fast as attacks per second possible weapon. Yeah, and that's it. Rest of the gear, just make sure that you're res capped, and I'm over capped right now. But yeah, okay. So this is the part number 1. This is the Cycloner. Now let me try to show you how the cycloning process works. Now the second part of the equation is, once you've gathered all of the mobs and buffed them with Tormented Spirit, is killing them. And I've opted to go with very squishy but character that has high increased item quantity and high increased item rarity. This is my character, and I have 142% increased item quantity and 250% increased item rarity dropped by slain monsters. Now all of my items have both quantity and rarity where possible. Exceptions are belt that has only quantity, and this amulet that I've transferred from hardcore prophecy to standard. And basically it has a 14% increased rarity of items found and 96% increased rarity of items found when a normal item is equipped. And this is my normal item that I have equipped. And this character is extremely squishy. It has horrible defenses, but it has a decent clear speed and decent amount of quantity and rarity. As a bonus to these fixed values here, my mana regen is somewhat lacking on purpose so that I can keep divination distillate up all the time, which adds another 15% of quantity and another 47% of rarity. Also, I'm using Wind Ripper that has 15% increased quantity of items dropped by slain enemies. By slain, of course, by slain frozen enemies, and 30% increased rarity of item drops by slain shocked enemies. And so that's about it. Everything else is pretty standard. I'm using Greed's Embrace. I'm using regular rare helm with quantity and rarity. Same goes for gloves. Same goes for boots. Rings are pretty decent. There you have it. The setup that I'm using is Ice Shot with Cast and Crit, LMP, linked to Arctic Breath and Ice Spear, and 2020 item quantity. This character is a bit more expensive than the Cycloner one, but it doesn't really matter. You can, do as much as you can, get as much of rarity and quantity as you can, or as little. It doesn't really matter. So there you have it. This is the second part of the story. This is the guy that clears the map. So let me show you how the cycloning part works. So I would suggest you just try it on a tropical island. I love tropical island because you can roll it with decent item quantity and rarity with just like an alking it. You're definitely going to get a knockback, and it's easy to navigate, and there is some RNG to it, because you can be screwed by having 3 Tormented Spirit in the same part of the island and blah 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 blah, but that's not that likely to happen. Also, something that you will notice as you play along is that this method has a very high impact on your computer, and it's really rough on it. So what I would suggest is that you don't try to pull all the mobs, because if you try to do something like that, you're just going to pull too many mobs and your game is going to crash, or you're going to get disconnected. So for example, right now we've pulled mobs to a Tormented Spirit. So the best thing to do right now would be to leave them like here and disengage. And continue to the next group. That is by far the best option. Now, a rough part would be if this was the only Tormented Spirit on this part of the island. But as I said, like, this part is it's really RNG based, so you might get lucky and get perfect pulls and get all the mobs affected by Tormented Spirit, or you might not get that luck and luxury. Okay, we got the second spirit. And the same thing, disengage. Oh, I'm not a fan of this. The spirit that's tormented has elemental reflection, and that's super bad because my clear character is pretty much cast and crit elementalist, so I'm probably gonna get destroyed. Even if I die a few times, it's still fine. So now we know that on the previous part of the island we had 2 tormented spirits, so basically we will only have 1 here. So we do want to take a small risk and try to pull as many as possible before we before we reach the tormented spirit. I have no idea why they got stuck behind the spirit chest. Be careful when you're moving like rocks and trees and stuff. You can lose a lot of your pack if you're not being careful. If you have a super powerful computer, you can try to pull everything, of course, but still, I don't think the game engine is optimized or designed with this idea in mind. We have a pretty nice group here. I'll be quite content with running into a tormented spirit right about now. My FPS is starting to heavily drop. So if we don't find it soon enough, if I pick up a few more mobs, I'm very, very, very likely to just disconnect from the server. My game is gonna crash. Oh, come on, where are you? Oh, there it is. So there's somewhere. There it is. Okay, now he's on my back. Now I will almost definitely disconnect or die. Which either way, that's totally fine. Or I won't. I will. Okay, what's happening? I'm still alive. Either way, I'm super happy with this. We've got a bunch of mobs affected by Tormented Spirit, so I'm gonna switch to my Magic Finder now. Ooh, okay. Now, there are methods to reduce the texture quality lower than it was, than it's possible by default. But I honestly didn't notice any great improvement in ability to pull more mobs, so it's up to you to experiment a bit with that. Now come as boring as what you just saw was. Now comes the fun part, and that's clearing and watching the items drop. Uh-oh. this is what happens when like bazillion of items drop. Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, and this brings me to a very important point. You see what's happening like right now, and we have a, you know, we have pretty much a no fucks given range character that can mostly off-screen stuff. Imagine if you would have a melee character that's supposed to run into the, you know, like you would just die because your computer would be like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? Like, I'm dropping FPS, like, because oh shit, because of sheer amount of items that are on the floor. And we know that we have like a ton of items here. So what we want to try to do is clear this area so that we can safely so we can loot it in peace and be safe and not worry about stuff. It's really ridiculous when you just hear the whoa. Okay, the boss is dead. Okay, let's see what we've got. Let me just try to look at this. Like what, like seriously? What do you do with this? So I will leave you with this beautiful image of what happens when you run. We have several orbs of fusings. We have one unique, one unique, two uniques, probably all crap, three uniques, chaos orbs, several alchemy orbs, we've got a lot of stuff here. So there you go. I think this is a very decent example of whether trying to run this is worth it or not. I think we at least, even without counting what you're gonna get from the Chaos Orb recipe, I think this is more than worth it. It's up to you to decide. Just have in mind that you need a pretty decent computer for such a thing, and hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below, and yeah, until next time.